COP30, the 30th conference of the parties to the United Nations Climate Change Convention, is taking place in Belém, Brazil, from November 10th to 21st. Its theme, Turning Climate Commitments into Action, is a call to deliver on promises made a decade ago in Paris. And with the Amazon at its backdrop, nature and biodiversity are at the heart of the agenda, a powerful reminder of what's at stake. At the opening of COP30, UN Climate Change Executive Secretary Simon Steele reminded delegates that in Paris 10 years ago, the world was designing the future, a future where emissions would finally bend downward.
The emissions curve has been bent downwards because of what was agreed in halls like this, with governments legislating and markets responding. But I'm not sugarcoating it. We have so much more work to do. We must move much, much faster on both reductions of emissions and strengthening resilience.
This urgency echoed UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres' earlier warning that a temporary overshoot beyond 1.5 degrees is now inevitable, but it can still be reversed if the world acts decisively now.
If we act now at speed and scale, we can make the overshoot as small, as short and as safe as possible and bring temperatures back below 1.5 degrees Celsius before century's end. Small, by peaking global emissions immediately, cutting them deeply this decade, accelerating the phase-out of fossil fuels, slashing methane and safeguarding forests and oceans, nature's carbon sinks. Short, by reaching global net zero by 2050 and moving swiftly to sustain net negative emissions afterwards. And safe, by drastically increasing investments in adaptation and resilience and delivering early warnings for all by 2027.
He urged nations to renew the promise made in Paris by launching a new decade of implementation and acceleration. For Trinidad and Tobago, this is more than a global issue. It's a national one. We're a nation at a crossroads. We're proud energy producers with an economy built on oil and gas. Yet, we're also on the front lines of the climate crisis, vulnerable to sea level rise, stronger storms, and the bleaching of our coral reefs. This paradox places Trinidad and Tobago squarely in the global climate conversation. And at COP30, two issues will matter most for us: the global stocktake and climate finance. At COP28, the world assessed progress on the Paris Agreement and found we're far off track. In Belém, countries must now present new, more ambitious plans to cut emissions. The world will be watching how nations, including ours, move toward cleaner energy. Trinidad and Tobago has already begun that transition from new solar farms to exploring green hydrogen. The Brecon Castle Solar Farm in Couva is a utility-scale solar project, about 92 megawatts, developed by BP, Shell and the National Gas Company. It will provide roughly 8% of our national power when fully operational. We've also launched the Green Hydrogen Pilot Project, part of a roadmap aiming to produce up to 4 million tons of hydrogen per year by 2065. But the question remains, how fast can we shift while keeping our economy strong and our people secure? The second issue is climate finance, the lifeblood of global action. For small island developing states like ours, it's about ensuring that those most responsible for emissions deliver on their promises to help us adapt and thrive. That funding isn't charity. It's an investment in stronger coastlines, water security, sustainable farming, and resilient communities. As COP30 continues in Brazil, Trinidad and Tobago's national delegation, representing our ministries, negotiators, and regional partners, joins voices from across the globe, pushing for a just and equitable climate transition. COP30 is not just a global story, it's our story. I am Stacy Ann Providence, keeping it green for TVT News.